Alright, fellow strangers, welcome back to another episode of Conversation with Strangers. It's your girl, Tri-State.
Katara.
James B.
Them vibes.
And today we're going to be talking about toxic masculinity and femininity. So today we're going to start off with toxic masculinity because I feel like a lot of the times we sit here and we look at things that is going on in the world right now, and some of the things, it's like a little bit toxic. So what do y'all think toxic masculinity is? What do y'all have?
It's the toxic nature of masculine. Well, I'm gonna say it's the toxic nature of men and masculine identified people. Like they take. Like their toxic behavior, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, what else? What else going
Cool. I think toxic masculinity is, I think, the projection of heteronormative society kind of pushing that. What's the word? I don't know. I want to say kind of pushing against anything that's not heteronormative. I know it would definitely include things like homophobia and misogyny, mainly because these are these are heteronormative things in society. It's not really a good thing, but yeah, I think that's what it is, in my opinion, I guess.
And then I guess to add to that, I agree with what he said with that definition. And then to also add on to it, I think it's also the belief pretty much the belief that men have, not saying all men, but most men have, that like they are dominant. Like, I feel like we just should have came in playing like this is a man's world, because basically that's what it is. And as a woman, you gonna always be fighting a little harder for equal rights when it comes to pay or hell, even just a seat at the table, to be honest.
I think I agree with everybody. Like, my personal definition of it, toxic masculinity, is like, I just feel like it's an action or something that they said that makes it like they're insecure about themselves because they're trying to prove a point, because they are a man. They have to do this, they have to do that. Oh, I'm allowed to do this, I'm allowed to do that. And that's just not perfectly not the truth. To be honest with you, if you truly held firm in your masculinity, you don't have to do all that to prove that you're masculine.
But I mean, also at the same time, I think it's important to always keep in mind that a lot of us as men are raised to be masculine. We were raised in an environment where you receive negative implications, negative words, negative feedback on anything that's not anything that would make it seem anything less than like tough as nails. Like, I personally grew up in a household full of women. Even I grew up in an environment where I could not be emotionally available.
But why?
I don't know. It's just how I grew up. It is what it is. And I don't mean just like at home. I mean in school, around friends, socially. Everywhere you go, they all kind of put pressure on you to be pretty much, I guess, the backbone of everything.
So let me ask this question, because y'all the guys of the group. My question to y'all is, so if you're mad about something, isn't that not an emotion? Or if you're frustrated about something, isn't that not an emotion?
Yeah.
And y'all equally display that, but it's just like, I feel like at the same time, if you care about somebody, right? I feel like sometimes that men, they want to shelter that. And I'm like, why? If you care about that person, show that you love them, show that you care about them. You don't have to hide that because you are a man. What is that about? I gotta know. I have to know.
Okay, don't. It's not all men. A lot of men do that, but I feel like they just don't want to show like their soft side, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't do that personally, but I feel like in their minds they're like, oh, I can't show that I'm emotional. I can't do this because I got to be the man of the house. I got to protect. I got to provide and all that. So I can't be out here crying and all that. I feel like that's what's going on in their heads.
Honestly, I'm gonna go, and I don't give everyone a pass for this. I still don't give most men a pass for this. Yeah, no, it's really just our environment, and it's not that no, you can't really express yourself all the time. It's also it's looked down upon. No one knows how to tell you how to express yourself, and you don't have much practice doing so. So how can you do so romantically 20 years later when you still have no practice of being able to say how you feel, let alone show someone else that you care?
So you think that actually, like, because of like what you
Absolutely.
said, do you think that it deals with men's health, mental health,
Mental
and
health?
and why men are more prone to commit suicide than women?
Yes, because you just kind of as a man, the rest of the world looks at you to thug it out always, at all times. You can take whatever it is and you just keep walking because you're a man and you're supposed to be this tough.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Before we get like too deep into that, so like the term toxic masculinity was coined by a man named Shepherd Bliss, and apparently he used that as a term to describe his father's militarized and authoritarian, I guess, leadership, or the way he ran the household or whatever. So, and it's crazy because like I just watched that documentary on Hulu. I didn't finish it, but I did start it. I don't know if y'all seen it yet, but the documentary about the Boy Scouts of America, it was kind of like, yeah, it was kind of like the same thing. So it was this whole thing about they felt like boys weren't like, I don't know, like I guess they felt like boys weren't boys, or like men weren't, I can't say men, but I'll just say boys weren't boys. So it was this whole thing to get them back into the wilderness, to learn how to hunt, fish, like camp, and do all these like manly things or whatever.
Let me ask this question. I could say this because I was a Girl Scout. I went camp. I went to like a girls' sleepaway camp and stuff. I don't think that would have made them any less of a man, because the same thing they do in the Girl Scout, they're doing in the Boy Scouts too. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm not saying less of a man. What I'm saying is they this is just what I'm telling you that I watch. I get the question you posing, but this was the idea of what it was to be a man or whatever. Like you had to be manly, you had to know how to hunt, you had to know how to fish, you had to know how to camp. Like obviously we wasn't alive back then or born back then, so I'm not sure exactly why they felt boys weren't boys, but that's just like what they felt. Okay. I mean, it's probably people that feel that way nowadays. A lot of boys don't. I know when I grew up, me and my friends went outside. My sister's 6 years younger than me, and by the time like her and the other neighborhood kids, they didn't go outside.
So the street lights came on.
Yeah, even now. Even now.
That's right.
Even now.
Stayed outside.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like even now you don't see a lot of kids outside. A lot of kids playing video games. Playing virtual games.
I'm gonna say this to all my parents out there. You wondering why your kids don't make the damn sports team? Oh well, I thought I could have sworn my kid was gonna make the sports team. Your kid ain't outside enough. Stop carrying your kids. Stop making excuses for your kids. Let your kids go outside. This is a side note. And stop accepting them appreciation trophies. That's not a trophy.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
And I agree, but conversation for a different day.
Oh no, I just say this is a side note.
For sure.
But yeah, so that's where the term toxic masculinity comes from. And yeah, I feel like, now I feel like I'm kind of thrown off because like in certain, but no, I don't really feel like that have anything to do with.
No. That was just a side note though.
Yeah, I feel like that don't have nothing to do with a man being a man though.
But yeah, I can get where I can get that, because you see the difference on how we raise our boys and girls. Like when a boy fall down and starts crying, the father most of the time is like, man, you good? That's stop all that crying.
Don't cry, man up.
Right. And then when a girl falls down, it's like, oh, you okay? Let me, you know what I'm saying? It's a different thing. So I feel like that's where it like starts getting ingrained into the child.
I think, to be honest with you, I think toxic masculinity has always been around. It's just that it's just been given a term. But everything that he's talking about, it's given a turn now. But negative masculinity has always been around. I forget in World War II, before they learned about PTSD and stuff.
Yep.
Was it It was Patton. Yeah, it was Patton, and he got in trouble for like smacking one of his soldiers because he didn't want to go back onto the battlefield. They're saying like, oh well, man up, and but that was like a toxic, not realizing that this man was like physically, like mentally not ready to go back, was mentally like shell shocked, seeing all the death and stuff. So I think it's always like been around for like ages. It's just now that it's been given a term. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like too, like we ain't really touch on it, but also I feel like it's the idea that, well, I kind of briefly touched on it, and James briefly touched on it when he mentioned like misogyny too, but I also feel like it's the idea that men are always right or men are in control. I feel like that's why a lot of the times too, like men don't want to hear no, like they don't know what no means. They so used to hearing yes, and to me, this is where toxic femininity
comes in
too, because you have a lot of women that are very passive, like even when they feel uncomfortable in a certain situation, like they might still go with it or whatever. Like for an example, like if a dude asks you for your number, right? Like you might want to say no, like I don't want to give you my number, but then you still might give him your number, knowing that you have no intention of talking to him, knowing that you have no interest in this man, but you don't feel comfortable to say no.
Because you've seen so many times how you can't just say no.
Yeah, you can say no, but
I mean, they'll walk you, they'll follow you to your car.
It's been a few times I've been in that situation. I just give them a fake number, keep it pushing.
But it's the fact that you still don't feel comfortable enough to just say no, like I'm not interested, and don't get me wrong, I've been on both ends. It's times where I'll be like flat out just no, or it's times where I'll do it, but I know I don't have no intention of talking to this man at all. Right. But like, not saying every time, it'd be some dudes that's very respectable that they'd be like, okay, I understand. But then you have others, well, fuck you anyway, or like, you ain't that cute anyway, like some negative type of, but like you said, that's like an insecurity thing.
Yep. It's an insecurity thing. It's shitty to put that on other people. But
yeah. Do you run into more of the respectable or the disrespectful guys?
I mean, I haven't dated men in like a few years, but I feel like, I honestly feel like it's probably about half and half. I feel like it's about half and half. Or just like, y'all remember that wild DM I showed y'all that time? And I was like, it was totally unprovoked. Like men sliding in your DM sometimes with like sexual stuff. And y'all know me, like I don't even post anything that's like attention seeking or anything. So it's just like, but even if a woman chooses to post whatever she want to post, does it give the man the right to? And that's why where misogyny ties in, that it's like men really feel comfortable to do certain things.
I got a question though. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Does it give a female a right to do the same thing to a guy?
No. It don't. But if you want to be real about it, most men ain't gonna be like, oh, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're not gonna care nearly as much.
Yeah. Right? They're gonna be like, slut me out.
I feel like lost my train of thought. We're just gonna laugh it off. Oh, I mean, now I remember. I feel like that's like a decent amount of double standards, though. Not all of them, of course. But I feel like it's like a decent amount to where, the other way around, no, it's not fair, but we just don't care as much to make it like a thing. But also at the same time, we're not really in much of any danger usually.
And the sad thing is, though.
So what you mean you're not in danger? You ain't seen the show Snap? You ain't seen the show Snap?
I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
Yo, you ain't seen Snap, bro.
I don't watch TV.
Hey, I need to get back to where you was at. I was like that at one time. I don't know.
I ain't gonna realize. What got me here is that I realized reading is what really changes the game.
I got you.
Reading, meditation, fitness, shit like that. Like, it's the reason everyone says all the same shit. Is because that's really the answer. That shit is really. It's crazy how different things get.
Yeah, but I was gonna say too, like, and I feel like I said, most men, they wouldn't mind, but then also I watched Y'all know I love my true crime shows. I don't remember which one I was watching, but it was one, and the lady was stalking the man, and he was going to the police like, hey, she's stalking me, and they was laughing at him, and this man ended up dead because they didn't take him serious.
So now that goes back to what you're saying. Let's go talk about toxic femininity. What do you think toxic femininity
But hold
is?
on, before we even get into that, like, you see how toxic masculinity worked, though?
Yeah.
Like, they laughed at this man. That's toxic masculinity.
Not only did they not help him or care about his safety, they looked at him like less of a man.
They did.
Right.
For wanting to feel safe.
That's
Yeah.
a fact.
That
It's
is a
shit
fact.
like that.
And it's the same thing when it come to like homosexuality. Like, a lot of hetero men feel like a homosexual man is less than, or even a bisexual man.
That's also what everyone, is, well, in our community, that's what that's what it's kind of taught.
Yeah.
No, it's not fair to treat everyone like that, but it kind of puts the onus on like heterosexual men to be aggressive, and homosexual men feel compelled like to compensate by being a little more manly,
Yeah.
just because they tend to be looked at as less of a man for some reason.
It's funny because I was
They're a
talking to
man
somebody.
at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody at work yesterday, and they had a little whatever with a coworker, and I guess the man is homosexual. I didn't know that, but that person put it out there. All right, cool, whatever. But it's like, he kind of started mocking him and talking like how the guy talk, kind of putting on like a feminine voice and stuff like that. He was like, yeah, because any other time he talk like this, but when he get around certain people and he want to play that card in front of management, saying people like picking with him or he think they messing with him and all of this stuff, he was like, then he want to talk like that and like just kind of like mocking him and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, he want to act like a bitch and this and this. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, because I see bitch ass niggas around here every day. That's straight. Like, so what are you talking about? It's just like, why even bring up that man's sexuality? It had nothing to do with the conversation. Nothing to do with the conversation.
People just want some.
I don't know. I can't make a true judgment of what you're saying because I gotta see it. I gotta see both sides. You understand what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is, what the conversation was about. Number one, it wasn't that deep. It wasn't that deep. I'm not going to get into the specifics of the conversation, but it just was not that deep. And then secondly, like I said, was it the worst thing in the world? No, but was his homophobia exposed? Absolutely. Or even just as something simple the other night when we was in the, when we was on break and y'all was playing, y'all little game or whatever. Something as simple as somebody shouted out "no homo" about the candy they was eating. Like,
I hate that shit, bro. That shit is so childish to me.
but I'm saying,
it'd be funny at certain times, bro. When you just yeah, go ahead.
In this context, it's only funny because he's the only person that does it, and it's just he feels the need to point it out. That's the way.
Why? But why?
Yeah, that's
But my thing is like,
weird
why? Why? You understand what I'm saying? Are you uncomfortable about something?
like, why is that even a thing? Why does it even have to be a thing?
I have maybe say 2 or 3 other friends that do that same shit, and like when I've tried to like explain that he doesn't have to continuously verify to everyone.
To me, I feel like when you comfortable in your own skin, it doesn't matter who you hang out. You can hang out with a heterosexual person or a homosexual person. It shouldn't matter who you hang out with because when you're comfortable in yourself, it don't matter.
Which brings me to my next thing. Men on the DL. It is okay. You do not have to be on the DL.
You can live your life how you want.
Happy Pride Month. Please come out the closet. You don't have to be there. I promise you don't have to be there.
And it's not just men. I don't think it's just men. I think females are like that too.
I think some females are like that, but some. But I feel like it's easier for a woman to come out. Okay, so even me, and even me being bisexual, right? It took me a long time. I'm not gonna lie, and this is just me being completely honest. It took me a long time to accept the idea of a man being gay. Cause one of my exes used to be like, her best friend was bi, and I used to be like, man, that nigga gay. Like, bisexual. Can no man be bisexual? But I realized, I was like, okay, like, you're a part of the problem. You're being a part of the problem. But no, men can definitely be bisexual. They can be bisexual, and it's okay. It's okay. But also, like, you have to accept the fact that some women will not accept that. And even me being like bi, like I remember I met a dude a long time ago, like he didn't like the idea of a woman being bi because he had a girl that cheated on him with another girl. So I feel like that did something to his little ego.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, his ego was.
Come on, that's just the game.
And I'm just gonna say his little ego.
It was his.
Oh,
Damn. Ego.
That's enough.
The little ego.
Oh shit! But why? Okay. Since you brought that up, why do we have the tendency of saying big dick or little dick energy? It shouldn't matter the size.
What you mean?
But like when I mean like, oh, a female, especially us female, be like, oh, you acting like you got all this big dick energy and you know what you really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that about? You know, I had to bring that up since you kind of like brought that to the
I mean, I don't even know how to really answer that, but I feel like I feel like it's just like I don't know about the big dick and little dick energy, but I feel like little man syndrome is definitely a thing. Like a lot of men, like a lot of men that are short tend to like over
5'7", for any man under 5'7", best believe they carry a fierce amount of anger at the world.
They do, and it's like why?
It's just funny because ironically it's like they want to be overlooked so bad because they're actually physically overlooked.
Right.
And I swear up and down everyone purposely overlooks
that, and then too sometimes they do things that like overcompensate, like relax.
They feel like they have something to prove all the time.
All the time. I'm sorry God didn't sprinkle hype.
They showed up half a person, so they feel like they got to do twice as much.
That's hilarious.
That's one way to look at it.
I had to bring that up because, you know, we talking about toxic masculinity. So you know that question had to come up. That question had to come up. And I'd be like, yeah, you know, you got guys who have Napoleon complexes and stuff. But I'm like, are you really that uncomfortable? You so uncomfortable with yourself that you have to have, like you say, overcompensate. What you overcompensating for? It just be crazy. Like sometimes you be seeing these guys, they be hopping out their trucks and stuff. Why you have that big ass truck? What is you overcompensating for?
Chill, little man.
And it don't have to be little. Like I mean, like, you know, some guys, they really do like big trucks. I'm not saying every guy, but you can tell like the ones who bought a truck because they're trying to overcompensate for something.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
saying? Or the ones that be revving, like, relax, bro, we see you. Nice car.
Like,
relax. Relax.
Damn, Mr. Bitches.
Right.
Ooh, speaking of like cars and stuff, y'all, I know I told Tri-States over here, but I don't think I told y'all about it. But I had a little incident yesterday, but I really felt like the man ego felt a little bruised because I wasn't backing down, but I guess he felt like I cut him off. I signaled I was going faster. I got over. So he like tailgated me or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. He gets beside me when we in a dual turn lane. Like, I'm reading his lips. Of course, he like, F you. So I'm just chilling. Y'all know me. I'm chill.
Be honest.
Hold on. It take a lot to like, get me like upset or whatever. So I just flick him off. I'm like, okay, F you too. Then he's still sitting there like talking shit or whatever. I'm like, okay, like go ahead. Like at this point, sir, just go ahead or whatever. So I guess he felt like he didn't like that. So this man proceeds to open his car door. He got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I pick up my phone to start recording him, and he shuts his car door. So I ended up calling the police, and I filed a police report. But my thing,
I got a police report on my ass.
But my thing is, sir, like, you didn't have to do all that. You've already tailgated me. You've already said F you like 3 times.
The male ego is one of the biggest problems in this world.
I feel like the female ego could be bigger too, because I think, but our ego, when we whisper our ego, we display it through pettiness to the umpteenth degree. To the umpteenth.
I ain't gonna lie, that's what I appreciate about y'all. 'Cause I'm also real petty deep down, and I will waste 5 years of my own life just for a get
fuck
back.
with you.
Okay. Period.
Satisfaction, just fulfill my heart, you know.
But yeah, let's go back to like we was talking about. I brought up earlier. What is toxic femininity? I feel like it's the same thing with toxic masculinity. The only difference is it's just dealing with a female. Like, to me, I don't have to wear a skirt I'm a sneakerhead. I'm gonna let y'all know this right now. Jeans, give me a shirt from Walmart. Give me a shirt from Walmart, a t-shirt from Walmart, some jeans, and some.
On the topic of toxic femininity, now I feel like it's important for me to at least ask this question, just so it's like something to kind of go with. Do you feel like weaponizing victimhood, do you feel like weaponizing, victimhood is a part of toxic femininity?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real honest with these. I'm gonna be real honest with the strangers out there. Personally, I think the worst thing that ever happened to females was we weaponized rape and the domestic violence.
See, I feel like that's very controversial, and I'm saying that because like I've never experienced either.
I've never experienced either either. However, I've known people who've been through that and stuff, and what I don't like is the fact that we have real victims out here who are really scared to come up and speak their truth, to let these people, these men or these females, because they don't talk, so men and women can get the help that they need, but because they weaponize it.
Let's say some though. Let's make sure we say some.
Because some people weaponize it. We weaponize it. The real victims out here can't get the help that they need. I'm gonna say this to every female out here who weaponize domestic violence and rape. Get your fucking life. For real.
They don't have one because they wouldn't be doing this. But
messing up a man's life because he don't want to fuck with you no more. Get you some new dick. It's plenty of dick out here. I'm just saying. But you wondering why what he doing?
I mean, or come my way before you do all that. I'm just saying. Before you do all that.
Yeah,
But no, that was a good question. That was a good question.
I'm sorry. I'm winning. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry for, because it is women out here that definitely do that. But I don't really think so. From what I looked up or whatever, I didn't even know toxic femininity was actually a thing. But from what I looked up, it's more of like women being like playing the woman's role, kind of like what you were originally talking about, like the idea that women are supposed to dress a certain way or look a certain way or act a certain way, and kind of play background to like a man or whatever. So in those regards, like. Yeah, I feel like toxic femininity can be a thing. It kind of goes back to what I was talking about a little bit earlier when I was talking about, like, even if you don't want to give a man your number, you might do it. That's a part of toxic femininity, because you're doing something you don't want to do.
I mean, because, we the two females here. I got to know your take on this. What am I going to ask? All right. Do you believe toxic femininity is more than just, like, trying to play a 1950s role? I think, like, as far as, like, we don't hold when a female does something wrong, like we are quick to like have an excuse for her, but we don't hold her accountable. Do you think that's all right?
I don't think it's all right, but I'm just what I'm saying is that's the definition that I looked up, and that's what it said. So I mean, but like I said, I didn't even know toxic femininity was like a thing. We hear toxic masculinity all the time, but I didn't know toxic femininity was a thing. But I could see how it could be a thing.
It's almost like not the opposite of toxic masculinity, but like how men, how toxic it can be for men to think we're supposed to be the dominant one in all this, and then how it can be toxic for women to think we're supposed to be the submissive ones, like in that regard.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah, basically, when I looked it up, that's pretty much what it said. Like women playing this submissive role or whatever. But, I mean, times obviously have changed.
My thing is, what is submission? What is y'all definition of submission?
I told y'all before, that's some shit I ain't doing. That's what submission
but for real,
is.
I want to know what's y'all definition of submission. What is y'all definition of it? Because if we're going to talk about toxic femininity, we have to talk about submission. What is your definition?
I was going to try to give you a definition without looking one up, but the only definition I can think of has to do with wrestling. And I assume it's not that kind of conversation. So,
I'm gonna say without.
UFC, come on.
I was gonna say without looking it up just off the top of my head. I'm gonna just say submission is the notion of like going along with something.
that's the nail on the head right there.
Or it could be going along with a person or an idea or
Being obedient.
So let me ask this question: if you're in a healthy relationship, right, rather woman, man, woman,
Right.
can't y'all be submissive to each other?
Yes.
Because
To
y'all
each
following
other.
each other. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I'm willing to submit to you because you're my partner. And the same way, you're willing to submit to me because you're my partner. You understand what I'm saying?
But you're talking about
Honestly?
gender equality here, in terms of a hetero relationship. Now,
I mean,
if
I
it's
didn't say hetero. I mean,
I know, but I'm saying, but if it's homosexual, then that's already a given. So what I'm saying is, I mean, yeah, because okay, see, this is the thing.
It's supposed to be a given.
Yeah, it should be. See, this is the thing.
Wait, what's the given?
See, this is the thing. In a homosexual relationship, gender equality. But she's saying, but this is my thing. People look at it like that, but coming from somebody who is bisexual and have only dated women for the last 5 years now,
Yeah.
like it's always been equal. It's always been equal. And now I can't speak for every homosexual relationship, but it's funny because I remember one time, it's so funny to me. This is like my first girlfriend, right? So when I was dating her, I was back at home living with my parents or whatever. And I was in a long distance relationship. So we would alter like each weekend going to see each other. So my girlfriend had just pulled up, right? And I walked to her car to help bring her bag to my car. And here go my mom, like the next day we talking on the phone. Why was you dragging that girl's suitcase all the way down the street? I'm like, what do you mean? I said, she parked right behind me. What she really wanted to know was who was the masculine one in the relationship. And I'm like, neither one of us. Like, that's what I'm like, just ask what you really want to know.
Right.
Now, do you have certain homosexual relationships like that? But I mean, yeah, absolutely. And we were two femmes, but it's like, even a lot of times people look at a stud, and I mean, you do have some studs that are very masculine and they want to play that role, but you have studs too who still want to be treated like a woman. Like, just because she dressed like a man, that don't mean that, like, you know what I'm saying? That's just what she
I
like.
want to say, because I'm like, if I went, never mind, that's a different story.
Definitely a different story. We're not going off topic, but what I'm saying is, like, yeah, I feel like that's more like you in terms of a hetero relationship, or maybe some homosexual relationships too. That's, to me, just gender equality. Like, I don't really know if that's submission as much.
Male birth control.
Oh, it's very much needed. Because I say this because if we're having stuff like Roe versus Wade being turned over, and we live in a conservative state, right? So you already know the. Let me put this out there. Let me put this disclaimer out here for the people before what I'm about to say. I have a very conservative stance when it comes to abortion. However, I do understand why some females will get an abortion. I'm not going to judge them, just like you're not going to judge me for my views. I'm not going to judge that woman or how that woman's views are. So, given the fact a female pretty much going to have to carry a turn to term, and we're promoting over sexuality in society, I feel, and the man think he needs to. I'm not saying every man, but we got a handful of men out here who want to stick they dick in everything. It's community dick. Coochie get thrown at them, they sleeping with it.
Toxic masculinity.
So with that being said, if you're gonna raw dog out here, get a vasectomy or some male birth control, so you don't have to be spreading your seeds out. Try to be Father Abraham out here.
I don't feel like it's a problem with male birth control, but I will say this. As somebody who... It's crazy. So, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I grew up a lot slower than most people, right? So, I wasn't out here having sex, like, probably as early as most people or whatever.
Same.
And it's crazy, but like when I went to go to college or whatever, my mom was like, well, I feel like you probably gonna lose your virginity soon, so you need to get on birth control. I didn't really want to get on birth control, but it's like, okay, my mom said, okay, I gotta get on birth control. So I get on birth control like probably like a year and a half before I even lose my virginity or whatever. Stayed on it for a few years, like the pill, and then I got on the depot shot. But I ain't gonna lie, like, y'all, I've been on birth control since 2013. And what I'm getting at is like, as a man, if you are okay with your woman taking birth control, then you need to be okay with taking birth control too. I don't take birth control because of what I learned about it and the consequences that it can have in the long run.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I decided to get off of it. But as a man, if you are okay, again, with your woman taking birth control, then be okay with taking birth control as well, knowing the consequences that could come along with it.
How do you feel about a vasectomy, though?
I'm good on both ideas. I feel in favor of both. Personally, I'm willing to get on male birth control. I've seen how bad that shit can mess you up. Am I willing to risk it? Yeah, because I can just also stop it at some point. Am I willing to risk it though? Absolutely, 100%.
I'll get a vasectomy way before I do birth control. I'll be honest.
I want to see. The morals in me want to agree with
reversible.
that. The morals in me respect. I know, but do you want to have to reverse that shit? Do you really want them to
If I have the option
If you got the option to reverse it,
but like, would
reverse
you really
it.
want them just down there cutting?
As long as I'm still performing, I mean,
There's gonna be some pain after the vasectomy for a while.
It's all
Do
right
you really want
though.
to go through it twice because you made a choice and then say, you know what? Now I'm kind of actually.
But if when he make that choice, he's want. I'm pretty sure if you say you got a vasectomy,
I'll be
right?
worth it at that point.
Point, because you're like, okay, I'm physically, mentally, and financially prepared to have a kid.
I feel that. That's why I said, you know what I'm saying? The morals in me respect that. I don't think I could put myself through that twice. So,
But it's
you know what I'm saying? Whatever the birth control come with, I'm not.
Because it's a lot easier. I'm
It
gonna put it to you this way: it's a lot easier for a guy to get a vasectomy than for females to get their tubes tied.
Didn't know that.
If I get a vasectomy, I'm most likely not gonna.
It's to the point. It's to the point that I gotta ask.
That's the thing where I don't want to.
They be like,
So I don't want to do it until later, but I do want to be in here shooting like a 7th grade white boy. You know?
what?
So
Hey, you can freeze your shit. Just freeze your shit.
that'd be cool. Okay. You ever seen the end of Scarface?
Okay, Nick Cannon.
No.
It's crazy. My dad has more kids than Nick Cannon. He wants to have more actually.
But then my thing is, okay. Oh, since we're bringing this up, how do y'all feel when a female has like a bunch of kids? Like she being Sarah, the wife of Abraham.
Somebody just wanted a lot of kids.
I'm just saying, and a man who has a lot of kids. How do y'all feel about that? And why is it a double standard? When a female has like 10 kids, they automatically think she a hoe. But when a man has 10 kids, he's like the man out here.
I don't even think they think that either.
No, not in terms of having kids. No,
I mean,
in terms of having sexual partners, maybe. But in terms of having kids, at that point, you just being irresponsible.
Yeah. I mean,
if it's a married couple or something, or a couple that's been together, they life partners, but to just be out here wilding, having kids, no, that's irresponsible.
Yeah, no. The person I know who's had the most kids, as long as I've been alive, is my dad. I know the number gets higher like every other year.
What's your youngest sibling's age, if you don't mind me asking?
If I could take a really good guess, it's hard for me to keep track of everyone. If I could take a really good guess, definitely under 5, probably under 3.
My man's. Is he gonna
Everywhere
be able to
from
live?
Baltimore to here to Jamaica.
Damn.
I know.
Will he be traveling around like that?
He's from Jamaica, but he also has a few places in Baltimore.
Papa was a Rolling Stone. Is a Rolling
He
Stone.
still is.
All right,
He be
but
rolling like that. God damn, bros.
we
He
gotta
don't
get
get
back.
tired. Oh, shit.
I appreciate it. I don't aspire to live like this, you know,
I just had to ask. I was just
but it's
wondering.
good to know I'd be able to live like this in a few decades still.
I ain't gonna sit there and hold you. My great grandpa, my grandfather's, my grandmother's father had his second child when he was 68. So you be good. But that's besides the point.
Y'all think it's a male's responsibility to take care of all his children? Or is it like depending on,
Honestly, I feel like all parents should definitely take care of their kids. On a side note, why does no one ever bring up how weird it is that parents, usually in our community, never pick you up or drop you off? Like, they never do both. I don't know if that's just me.
I've never experienced that. My mom picked me up.
They'd only do one thing. They could never take me somewhere and pick me up because, you know, I'm their child and kind of have to be home. They'd only do one.
No, my mom
and it was so common when I went down to, you know, where I'm from, because I hadn't heard of it. But then I realized, okay, they're not gonna.
I mean, I was other hood. I grew up in the hood, but I was in other hood. I had a playroom in the projects, so I couldn't really tell you.
I don't really think that's.
Oh, I thought it was a common thing because when I first moved.
What I'm saying, I don't know if it's more of a parental, because like a parental thing in the household is what I'm saying. Like a lot of the times, even if it was like one of my parents dropping me off and then a friend's parents picking us back up, like it's just like shared responsibility to me.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the question that Vibes asks, like I just feel like honestly, if you out here fucking, then you can't be like, oh, I don't want kids. That's a weak ass excuse to me.
Thank you.
Because people always pose that question, like, well, what if a man don't want the kid and he want the woman to get an abortion, but she choose not to? Okay, it's still his responsibility to take care of that kid.
Hold up,
he don't make.
But hold up, no. So since we since you jumped into that, we're gonna talk about Roe versus Wade in a few. Here's my issue. Here's my point to what you're saying. I have to kind of counter that. Okay, let's say the female wants the kid, the man don't want the kid, right? Alright, cool. My thing is, if you don't want to be in your child's life, I'm not going to sit here and hound you. I'm not going to sit here and change my number. You know where to find me when you eventually want to have a relationship with your child.
That's cool.
However, let's do it the reverse way. Let's say a female went and got an abortion and that man wanted the kid. How is it fair for the female to get an abortion even though he wanted the kid? And you say, well, it's not my issue. You get what I'm saying? It should be a two-way street.
It is a two-way street, but that's why I see you making it seem like, and you do have baby mamas or whatever, women that be out here like, oh, you better, nah. If he say he don't want to have nothing to do with it, then okay. But my to answer what he asked specifically, whether a woman is asking you or not asking you, what I'm saying is, as a man,
you take care of your kid.
You take care of your kid.
Absolutely.
Of course.
You was
I
okay.
get that part.
You was okay with fucking, so be okay with having a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I get that part. But I'm just saying, like.
I was gonna say I'm in agreement with you with the thing of if he doesn't want to be there. Yeah, it's a little shitty to force him, but at the same time, you also gotta understand he could have just not shot his shit up. Could have just not shot the club up. At the same time, if you don't want the kid, you could just not do that because that's kind of how you have the kid.
Right.
And it couldn't to be honest with you, it's really just smart to just use contraceptive too. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want
it's not that hard to practice safe sex.
It's really not hard.
It's not fun. No one wants to make that choice, but you kind of have to. If you really want to be careful, you kind of have to.
Come on,
you just gotta bite the bullet to keep it honest with you.
And again, like we talked about before, since we just talked about sex a little bit, you know, aside from having a kid, it is shit out here, so you should wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're gonna be a thot, as my mama say, if you're gonna be a hoe, be a good hoe.
If you're going to
make sure you know who you sleeping with. So you slept with 3 people in one day. Say you slept with this person at this time. I slept with this person at this time. I slept with this person at this time. Did I have protected sex with this person, or did I not have protected sex with this person? So when it come down to it, so if something happened, you can narrow it down.
That's not even
who it was, you know what I'm saying? You know, get checked every 3 months, you know?
Happy in the first half.
That is in the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, it's rules to this shit, I'm just saying.
And then so you said if the the woman chooses to get an abortion and then the man don't want her to get one. But see, that kind of get into like the whole overturning of Roe versus Wade. At the end of the day, it's the woman body. Like, I'm sorry to that man if he wanted the kid, but it's just one of them things where like,
so it could have been like you could have
told on her, just let her have this.
yeah.
Right.
This don't affect you no way in general. To be honest,
not really, I was gonna say it's not really his decision for real.
no, he don't
Okay,
have
so
to.
then,
wants it or not,
so
like,
then,
you know,
okay, so wait.
It's
So then
simple
goes
as that.
back to my thing. It goes back to my point is, so then why is it okay for a female to say that man don't want the baby, but you slap him with child support? He told you he didn't want the kid.
I never said I was okay with any of that.
No, I'm just saying. It's a general statement.
Yeah,
it's a general
But he
statement.
participated in the actions of having the kid. You can't get mad that you had the kid. To be honest.
Okay, and
The
I'm
kid
just
is
saying,
innocent though.
the kid is innocent. I'm just saying the kid is innocent. So that's why I'm saying at the same thing. Like you took that man right away. What if that was his only kid? That's the only kid he could ever have in life. You get what I'm saying?
Is it fucked up? Yes, but at the end of the day, it's a woman's body.
Right, okay, and it's the same thing. It could be the same thing. It's the same
I don't
thing.
feel like it's the same thing.
It's a woman's body. That's the man's pocket. You know what I'm saying?
It's not the same.
All right.
It's
I
not
don't
the
know.
same.
I don't know about that.
I get where you going. It's a cool question to ask, but I don't feel like it's the same thing. Because if it was you, like, how would you feel?
What do you mean?
If you got pregnant, right, and you ain't want the baby, but the man wanted you to have it, you gonna have it just because the man wants you to have it?
Well, my thing is, I will make a stipulation. Like, listen, I don't want the kid personally. Like I said, my views are very conservative as far as abortion goes. Like, I'm gonna have the kid, but like, listen, I can also give the kid to the father. I don't want to. If you want the kid, fine, I'll have the kid, but I don't want to have anything to do with the kid.
And unfortunately, it's about to be a lot of that going on in certain places.
But like I feel like when they get born first, and you kind of just hold them, I feel like that's where the answer usually changes.
Yeah, for some people.
Yeah, some people.
For some.
Cause it's like, okay, you've had a tiny human growing in you for like 8 or 9 months. You know what I'm saying? So,
Y'all done went through
and
the whole journey
besides, shit,
together.
I got a bet going on. Me and my sister got a bet going on. We trying to figure out who gonna have the twins first. So, I don't know. That's two kids. Sorry. Whoever's my future baby daddy, I'm sorry. I can't help that twins run rampant in my family. I can't help that.
No need to apologize. But how do y'all feel about Roe versus Wade being overturned, and how does toxic masculinity and maybe even femininity play into that?
I think they opened up a Pandora's box.
You hungry, Panera?
No, I meant Pandora. I'm sorry. Sorry. Pandora like the bracelet, you know. I think they opened up a real big Pandora's box for a lot of things to come down the pipeline. And I'm like, you have to be, instead of y'all thinking with y'all emotions, okay, I get it. You see a kid at 7 weeks, you see their little arms and stuff. I get it. I think I said, I'm totally conservative how my views are. However, you can't judge the next person, because at the end of the day, I don't believe state or feds should have a choice of what I can do what I can or can't do with my body. That's between me and my physician. Why does the government have to be involved in my body in any form? Just like if I don't want to, let's say I have kids and I don't want to get my kids vaccinated. Why are you telling me what I could put in my can't put in my kid's body? Why?
Control.
Which, at the bottom line, that's the bottom line. And I feel like no government entity should, rather it's like I said, city, state, or federal, should have any control of one person's body.
But when have white men ever cared about that?
Right, this is America. Like, I'm not really that surprised just because this is what America does. Stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I usually don't stray much into politics just because I know there's not too much you can do. You've seen many times over and over how this place is kind of run. So I'm just here for the show.
Oh no, I'm gonna be sipping on whatever I'm sipping on. Rather it be
getting paid,
some Jack,
and I'm
some
see what
tea, some water. Oh, I'm finna sip on this. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting ass summer.
And for me, I feel like it's messed up. I feel like we was kind of just talking about this, but definitely you talking about somebody. You ain't even help me make this child. Shut the fuck up. You don't have no say in this.
Yeah.
But I do want to pose this out here to my fellow strangers. How many of y'all who agree with Roe versus Wade, how many of y'all went to adopt kids or put them up for foster care? Because we got a bunch of kids in the system right now, and that was my biggest thing too. Like I said, I wouldn't personally abort, but the next person may. And like I said before, there's gonna be a lot of kids in the system. Y'all already saying fuck the system now.
It's already a lot of kids in the system.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of kids in the system. Y'all already saying fuck the system now, and y'all rather adopt a kid from overseas and try to adopt your kid that's already right here in America.
And we gonna definitely say that for another topic, but a lot of the times too, I feel like that's I ain't gonna say black people don't do that, but I really feel like black people don't adopt kids from other countries like that. I feel like that's white people trying to play like savior.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a different story from a different time.
Yeah, that's why I said we're not gonna go off topic, but yeah. But again, I feel the same way when it comes to the whole Roe versus Wade thing, like, because you have mostly white older men in politics, and y'all once again are intruding and impending in people's lives.
So type in the average age for Congress and the Senate.
I'm gonna go 70.
Right.
Just on average.
Average age for the
I would
Senate.
get 65, 60. 57.6 years for Senate. Oh yeah, for Congress, 57.6 years, and senators 62.9.
So let me ask. So I'm gonna throw this question out there for y'all. If the majority is almost your grandfather or my father's age, right? Your grandfather or your father's age, and the majority of men, right? What gives them the right to make decisions on that? It goes back to, I'm going off topic a little bit, but it needs to be said. We need to have term limits. You cannot sit here and make a career out of this. Because you're going based on that, and it goes into the old guard. We're still in the old guard. We're not in the old guard. We're in a brand new day. We're in a brand new guard. And yes, I'm not saying no conservative views are not good. And I'm not saying no liberal views aren't good. But at the same time, I'm tired of seeing the same old people.
I mean, good, bad, or indifferent. It should be term limits.
It should be term limits.
Because it's kind of like saying y'all are stuck with this until however long. Like,
we should have term limits, and it should be more diverse. Why is it only 3 female senators? If that, how many female U.S. senators do we have?
Female?
Yeah, female.
I mean, while they look that up for a second, it's just like, okay, look at Kamala.
Well,
first, I'm not getting into her politics, but what I'm saying is she's the first female vice president that we ever had.
24?
Barack Obama was the first black president we ever had. So I'm just saying, when it comes to politics, it's mostly old white men in office making decisions for a very diverse group of people, when we already know that as much as some white people try to preach diversity, that ain't what y'all be out here practicing. Y'all preach it, but you don't practice it.
But I feel like, and that's why I'm saying, you need to understand your politics and read your politics. Read what's in their background, because they could be telling you one thing, and they could believe something totally different.
Yeah. Now, that kind of I'm gonna go ahead and segue into the next little thing or whatever. Like, again, y'all know I love my crime shows, so I had kind of threw this out there. It's like these cult leaders, right? These cult leaders, they be white men most of the time. It's been a couple of
most of them
women, but like the ones that you hear all the time, Charlie Manson,
Marshall Applewhite
for Heaven's Gate, David Koresh or Karush down there in Waco.
Yup, him.
Down there in Waco.
Jim Jones.
You can't forget Jones.
Oh my God.
You can't forget what's the guy with the Mormon shit? Him.
Oh, Warren Jeff.
Yup, we can't talk. We gotta talk about his ass.
So
this
it's like
how you marry your mama?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's real different.
That's I mean, if that ain't toxic masculinity, I don't know what is. And if that's not toxic femininity put into play, I didn't know this until I did my research. But then when I think back on all the documentaries and stuff that I watched, I'm like, damn, most of the women are followers. It says I did a little research. It's a Pew study found that 70% of cult followers are women. And again, that goes back to what? Submissiveness. And a lot of these cult leaders pull people in through what? Religion.
I got a question. You know, maybe from some fellow strangers were in cults or some shit. Is it because the dick was good? I'm just wondering. I'm like,
but it's not just about that.
Is it the charisma? Is how he came up to you and spoke to you? Because personally, I think the first 30 seconds of a conversation is going to say, if we're going to keep talking.
Do you know about Jim Jones?
Yeah.
All right, so with Jim Jones, the People's Temple could have been a good thing, especially for the time back then.
Yes.
For the time back then, he was bringing together black people, white people, poor people. He had a big following, and it was really masked as like a really, really good thing. I think it even originally might have started off as a good thing, but somewhere along the line, this white man, he had an ego and a power trip going on, and he was like, man, I could really control all these people.
He strayed.
I mean, that could have been a goal from the beginning. I don't know. But what I'm saying is,
I don't think that was his goal. What I'm saying is, I think
maybe not.
Power, I think that, like you said, the power, the tribal dynamic, because I'm like, he was revolutionary for his time.
Absolutely.
I would have to give Jim Jones that. When you got to get props for his too. But I think
the fact that he could get 900 people
to kill himself,
and the way he did it was so systematic. They made the kids drink the Kool-Aid first because he know ain't no parent gonna want to live without their kid. So they got the kids to drink the Kool-Aid first. 900 people to commit mass suicide. That is crazy. Even down to David.
He had to get fed time, or they was gonna kill his ass because he's killed that state senate, that senator that came down.
And even when they go down to David Koresh down there in Waco, like they had a whole 50-something day standoff. Now,
we don't know who popped the first bullet first. Was it the feds or them? That's still up in the air.
The people say the feds, and I'm gonna go with the feds. That's not to excuse that. But it's not to excuse what the fuck that he had going on in there.
I'm gonna have to even throw this in here. Ted Bundy.
Serial killer.
And he's not cold either. I'm throwing him out there
because he was charming.
He was
charismatic.
That's why he's in my top 3.
Yeah, because I'm saying
everything was right. The grades, everyone. He was friendly. He was good at
all the shit he did.
He was
He was a sociopath.
It was to the point. It was the point. It was
Jeffrey Dahmer.
I realized they're not like all manic as fuck, but like they're just really good at looking normal.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It was to the point that it was like he represented himself, and even the judge was just like so mesmerized. Like they was like he could have been a great attorney.
Speaking of Ted Bundy, he helped them capture the Green River Killer, or he gave them like a profile of who they might have been looking for.
This motherfucker could have been anything he wanted to be. Ted, what's wrong with you?
But this is where
when you can do anything, you'll pretty much just end up doing what you want.
But this is where I'm going with this.
You can do anything, so you might as well just do what you want.
This is where I'm going with this. The Green River Killer or whatever. Like he was mostly out there killing prostitutes. You kill it because he was like some kind of like very religious person too, but my thing is you killing these people or these women because you feel like prostitution is wrong, but at the same time you out here sleeping with them. Is that not toxic masculinity?
You know?
Is that not
Power
toxic
trip.
masculinity on display?
To the fullest.
Oh, just on a side note, for some reason, every time, like, y'all, like, we've talked about this maybe twice, and I've said this maybe once before. For some reason, every time we talk about Jonestown and y'all say Jim Jones, I keep thinking the rapper.
Ballin'. Not Harlem weatherman Jim Jones.
It's like every time I hear it, my first thought is like,
You're right.
Leave him alone. Leave my mans alone out there.
Two different Jim Jones. Two different ones.
yeah.
So what do y'all feel like are the negative impacts of toxic masculinity?
I think it's, you know what, to my young men, especially my young black men out here, I think it's so deep in our community. It's that it feels like they're always struggling by themselves. And I feel like you don't have to struggle by yourself. We're right here. We're right here with you. Like you're my, like I'm your sister, you're my brother. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm right here with you. But the problem is, it's just like they don't feel like they have that support, and that's what I don't like. Like it's support out here. If you feel like you're gonna do something, like you come and talk to me. Come talk to me.
A lot of men don't understand that. A lot of men do feel like they have nobody because you usually don't really have anyone until you know later on eventually give some people a chance. I think that's definitely one of the most negative, like most impactful things that come as an effect of toxic masculinity in society. It's that you always feel isolated. You feel like you have to figure this shit out by yourself because they all expect you to figure this shit out by yourself because they can't help you or they won't help you, either or. I feel like being unnecessarily aggressive, being angry at the world that comes from it for sure. That's another one. I know we brought this up briefly earlier. Feeling the need to compensate, feeling the need to overexert your masculinity to, you know, show that you can do this because everyone expects you to, and they expect you to not crack under the pressure. What other negative impacts? That's serious.
I think those are all good points.
Yeah, honestly, being emotionally unavailable. Yeah, you know, that's. I know I've like said that like once before, but like, I mean actually emotionally unavailable, unable to let anyone in, unable to communicate how you feel in a clear way. But the problem with that is that you won't really be able to have many deep relationships with anyone because you won't let anyone in.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done though. Especially since most of your life you kind of can't let anyone in because I think it's commonly agreed on, or that we can all, you know, agree on this, that when you do let someone in, the second you get into any kind of debate, squabble, argument, kerfuffle, whatever words you want to use, they throw whatever it is that you let people in about right back at you.
Yeah.
Which is already bad enough because you feel like less of a man, you know what I'm saying, feeling whatever emotions that you know tend to feel, let alone someone pointing it at that as if it's a fault also.
I agree with all of those. And then I think too, from more of like the women's point, as a man, like you have to be okay with a woman telling you no. You're not gonna always hear yes. So you have to be okay with hearing no and accepting it. And that's not to say, like I said, that some men don't, but you have men out there where that really bother their ego or whatever.
Yeah, ego and pride they're two huge words, I think, when you think about the context of manhood itself.
And then I'm gonna let y'all answer it first because y'all are the men in the room. What does it mean to be a real man?
That's a good one.
In all honesty, I feel like that's a subjective question. I feel like, well, if I could break it down to as easy as I see it, I feel like a real man is, I hate to say just a man, but I mean just a man. Like, I don't listen to what too many people tell me about, you know what I'm saying, what a real man is or what a real man does, because I feel like I'm a man. I feel like I'm a real man. So I just feel like I do whatever it is I do.
So do you contemplate a real man just knowing who you are and comfortable with it?
I mean,
and you
that,
okay
but
with
at the
anybody
same time,
saying?
but at the same time, I carry myself the way I feel like a real man would. Understanding, caring, nurturing, but still sturdy and and driven.
Right. And I can only speak from how I was raised. Just be caring, take care of your people, take care of yourself. I got that a lot from my dad, and then, but I'm closer to my mom, and I grew up, like, all my closest friends have been female, so I got to also be more emotional, be, open-minded, all that good stuff that you probably wouldn't get from, like, a father figure, at least from my father figure. But, yeah, just basically just being a human being, I guess.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this, Corey. Don't be mad that all your closest friends is females, because you got ahead of the game when you dealt to females. Don't even worry about it.
I got ahead of the game when I what?
Talking to females.
Oh.
Don't even worry about it.
I ain't worried about it.
I don't know. Y'all are easier to talk to. Y'all are easier to talk to. I can like, you know what I'm saying? I can talk to men and we cool. It's just I don't care about most of the stuff that most men tend to care about. I can't talk cars and engines and sports and shit. I can go play sports. I'd love to rather go play sports. But like, I don't know. I can't name you that many players, or I can't name you all the teams or who's good and who's not good this year because I don't watch nothing. So it's hard for me to relate to a lot of the conversations that happen.
I think the thing is, but I think that's like a stereotype though, that guys know about cars, engines, and sports and stuff. Cause I met guys and they're not into that stuff at all.
Most those are the ones I know.
Yeah, but I was gonna say most men.
That's how I started picking it up. Just because everyone else kind of is, you'll pick up something eventually.
Cause I'm like, I probably can. They be like, no, I don't know. And I've known like guys, and you can tell like, nah, they comfortable who they are as a man.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, I don't watch sports or anything.
And
so I
to
feel like
me-
you can't equate sports and cars and shit. You just have to have a genuine interest in it.
And to me, that's what make a real man. It's like being true with like being true to yourself, being comfortable with who you are, whether you hetero, whether you homo, it doesn't matter, whether you trans, whatever have you. Like, it's being comfortable in your own skin, knowing who you are as a person. To me, being a leader, and being in touch with like your masculine and feminine side. Like, you can totally be a man, but still like be in tune with like your emotions and things like that, and that's okay.
It's okay.
And I love that for two of my younger cousins, because I remember like growing up. It's funny because me and my cousin just talked about this the other day, like their older sister. But like my aunt growing up, she really used to just be like kind of tough on my cousins, like stop that crying and that, like stuff like that. And then like, of course, they come over to our house and it's just me and my sister. So when they were little, like 2 and 3, like they might pick up a Barbie doll. My aunt would be so quick to like snatch it out their hand, like don't play with that. That's a girl's toy.
Oh yeah, I got a question about that. How do y'all feel about people not wanting boys to play with girl toys? Well, with it identified as girl toys, and girls playing with it identified as boys toys. I think it shouldn't really matter, because a kid is just gonna play with a toy that they like. It doesn't make them any less. Oh, well, that boy is gonna be gay or that girl is gonna be a lesbian. It doesn't. It just says that kid. Because I didn't. To be honest with you, I thought all the boys' toys were the best toys. I ain't gonna sit there and hold you.
I think it make them just more well-rounded.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying about my cousins. Like, I'm glad that they grew up to be the way they are, especially because my aunt was how she is. Like, they grew up to be outstanding young men. Like, that's all I could say. Mm-hmm. I feel like they caring, they nurturing. Like, I feel like there's some real men out here. I feel like when it comes to toys and stuff like that, it don't matter. Like, I mostly played with what would be seen as girl toys growing up, but then, like, I used to play outside with some of my neighbors who were boys. Like, we would play basketball, we played kickball, we played like stickball. We went and played in the creek and in the woods. Like I collected Hot Wheels and baseball cards.
And I think we would just resorted to Barbie dolls and easy bake ovens. Don't get me wrong, easy bake oven, don't be sleeping on that damn
What, the
toy.
Easy Bake Oven?
That shit teach you how to cook.
Come on.
Man, what?
My son would have like a little play stove in his room. You know why? Because at the end of the day, what if he don't get married? He gonna have to learn how to cook some type
Man,
of
my kids
way.
gonna know how to cook because they gonna like to eat.
I'm telling you, boy toys were like the best toys. I don't care what
Yeah.
nobody say.
And me and my neighbors, like, he was a boy, and he used to have all his little dump trucks and stuff. Like, we used to
Bro, I
play
used
with
to
the
love
dirt and
trucks.
stuff. And we used to, when we were really small, like, little, like, the way where we grew up was built, we used to, like, ride the dump trucks down the alley. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's just living back then.
You know what? I just ended. You know what? What y'all think about this conversation, my fellow strangers out there? What do y'all think toxic masculinity is? What do y'all think toxic femininity is? Do y'all think toxic femininity and toxic masculinity go hand in hand for the things that goes on in society? Have a conversation with y'all people. Let us know what you think in the comments. Click like and subscribe, and we out.